Thanks for taking the time to meet with us, Governor.
Steve, you're always welcome in my huddle, man.
Great. So I want to ask you a few questions. The first one is on jobs in the economy. And as of September 2011, job seekers 50 and older have been out of work for an average of about a year, with about 46% having been out of work for a year or more. So we're looking to hear how you would help Americans, especially those ages 50 and older, get back to work and improve the economy for all Americans.
Number one, I would break the stranglehold that the special interests have on Washington. We can't do tax policy. We can't do budget policy. We can't do immigration policy. We can't do bank reform. We can't do health care reform. We can't break our addiction to foreign oil when the big corporations who've never made more money than they're making right now control Washington. So the first step, and don't listen to any politician who tells you they'll do anything else, the first step is to break the stranglehold of the money of the special interest. I would do that with campaign reform. You say, well, that's not jobs. Yes, it is. You do campaign reform, and then small business can grow. Then we can have fair trade with China. Then we can be energy independent as we improve the environment. We can do it, America. Now, the government's not going to create jobs. It's a gardener. I'm a gardener. I get the flower bed ready, and when it's ready, the flowers will grow. I'll start with campaign reform.
Great. So the second question we have, obviously important to AARP members and others across the country, and really should be important to all generations, is Social Security. Here in New Hampshire, more than a third of our 65-plus population would be in poverty if they didn't have Social Security. So we'd like to hear from you how you would protect Social Security, not just for today's seniors, but also strengthen it for the future generations coming down the road.
And I would protect it, and I think it's important that we do protect it, both for those on it now and those who are coming up in the next 10 years and those who are 40 and 50 years away. We need to look at the overall program. I would do one thing immediately. I would ask Congress and the Social Security Commission to approve a raising of the retirement age over time. I would do it 1 month a year for 24 years. That's at the end of 24 years, that's a 2-year increase in the retirement age. But it's slowly done. I would not raise taxes. I would not cut benefits. If you raise the retirement age 1 month a year for 24 years, you can maintain the integrity of Social Security. Finally, I would consider, and I'm not ready to endorse this yet, but I would consider for younger workers, 45 and younger, to have some portion of their income retired in a non-Social Security plan. But I won't do that if it damages Social Security. So let me go over it again. Number one, we'll protect Social Security. Number two, we'll ask the retirement age be slowly increased over time. And number three, I will explore, with the approval of the American people, that younger workers might have a 401k type small contribution for medical benefits or other things that's outside of Social Security.
Thank you. Thanks. So, sort of continuing on that retirement bent and trying to figure out how folks are going to be able to have a stable retirement, which is getting more and more difficult in America. Basically demonstrated by the fact that here in New Hampshire, 6 in 10 seniors rely on Social Security for at least half of their income, and for 3 in 10, it's their only source of income. So that's, and we know that that's not a lot of income that Social Security provides to folks. So what policies would you promote to help people save for retirement?
I would have a new tax code. Now that's easily said, hard to do, because the special interests don't want to change anything. I mean, GE made $15 billion last year and paid no taxes. What do they need a new tax code for? So you got to be clean first. You got to be free to leave. But I would have a flat tax, and let me be specific. I would do it at 17%. I would have the first 50,000 income tax free. The first 50,000 income tax free. That takes care of your necessities. That takes care of your living expenses. That doesn't make you a rich person. You'll pay sales tax locally or whatever taxes they have, but it's income tax free. So if you made $100,000, you'd pay 8.5%. 0 for the first 50, 17% for the second 50. It's very progressive, very fair, very simple, can't be lobbied. I would have a 2/3 vote to change it. If you make $1 million, you pay 17%. If you make $100,000, you pay 8.5%. If you make $50,000, you pay 0. That takes care of people. Necessities. I would start there.
So our last question, an important one, obviously, for those over the age of 65, is on Medicare. And in New Hampshire, a typical New Hampshire senior spends over 23% of their income on health care, which is about $5,300 of out-of-pocket costs per person. So we'd like to know how you'd put Medicare on a stronger financial ground while protecting today's seniors and future retirees from the burden of rising healthcare costs.
My mother had her 89th birthday, Christmas. My dad's 90. They both live on a farm where I grew up. My sisters live there around them, and we have family care. We're very fortunate. But I know how powerful Medicare is. I know how valuable it is. And I know some people laughed at it when it started. Well, they're not laughing now. But I think we need to make 4 changes. 1, I think insurance companies ought to compete. They don't. They're the big gift of government now. I won't mention Blue Cross by name, but they have a monopoly in each one of 50 states. I would make them be under the Sherman Antitrust Act. They were protected under Obamacare. Ridiculous. I don't care how much money they give. I don't take it. I'm free to make them compete. Number 2, I would make pharmaceutical companies compete, including imports from Canada, made of the same quality in America at half the price. We're going to get serious. No more monopolies. Number 3, tort reform. I know lawyers are good people, and people have medical problems. They need legal representation. But frivolous lawsuits are killing doctors and killing the cost of health care. We would have tort reform. We did it in Louisiana, lowered cost 10%. And number 4, I would offer a 25% incentive to all health care providers who reduce the cost of their health care providing, document it, prove that they maintain quality. I would let them keep 25% of what they save. I don't think government is the answer by itself. I think it's part of the problem. It's too bureaucratic. It's too slow. It's too inflexible. People can't be treated like individuals. I would make those 4 changes and watch health care costs. They'll go straight down, 15, 20%. Now that's a gift of health care.
Well, thank you very much, Governor. We really appreciate you taking the time
Thank
here.
you.